Hello, welcome to Gen Bio 2014 for fall. You are probably part of the flipped classroom or part of the online class, and so I wanted to give you a little bit of information about me. First of all, I'm Dr. Connolly. I will be leading you or guiding you or assisting you through your journey for Gen Bio for fall at least, and potentially for spring as well. I know many of you have to take the entire year sequence. Remember, if you're in the flipped classroom, you will be spending a lot of time watching the lectures and thinking about the materials outside of class, and then coming into class and we'll be doing a lot of active learning components. If you're part of the online class, then this is your space. You are going to be spending a lot of time thinking about the content and videos on your own, and then participating in active learning, different types of strategies, different discussions, and so on, primarily through the wiki page that you can access through mycourses.rat.edu. But for the other things, mastering biology, TopHat, what are these things and what is their purpose and how do you get into them to get everything you need for the class? So I want to spend a couple of minutes today showing you how to get into mastering biology and how to get into the course for TopHat and so on. So let's begin. If you are in your favorite web browser, and for many of these things you will note that occasionally Safari won't work properly. Occasionally you might have a video plugin that's missing, maybe from your Chrome browser or your Firefox browser. You need to make sure that everything is very up to date. And one of the ways we do that in masteringbiology.com is to actually have you run an assignment that will check all of those settings for you. It will say, can you see this? Can you hear this? Can you read this? Kind of idea to make sure that you're all where you need to be. However, we're not that far yet, right? Some of you may have already come in and set up your account. If you have, terrific. If not, don't panic, okay? We need to go to the Register Now Student button. And if you click that, it's going to ask you if you have these three things. Do you have an email address? If you are an RIT student, you have an email address. Okay. Do you have a course ID? The course ID is a code you get from me. It is Gen Bio, G-E-N-B-I-O, Fall 2014, all squished together. It's posted on my courses, and we'll show you again as we go along. It's also going to say, do you have an access code or a registration code or a credit card? Your registration code came with your book if you bought it at the RIT bookstore. If you did not buy it at the RIT bookstore, or you have an old edition of the textbook that you got from a friend, that's fine, but you need to buy a registration code then, okay? Right now, you're in Canada, or you are not in Canada. Maybe you are. Many of us are in the US right now. And you decide here, do you have a course code from your instructor? Yes, you do. Okay. The course code from your instructor is Gen Bio Fall 2014. Okay. Yay! It says that course exists. Terrific. I hope so. Okay. Then you hit Next. Do you have an access code? Notice that it's 5-letter words. Some of them are words. Some of them are weird. But you need 5 of them, okay? So you say, yes, I have an access code, all right, that you got with your textbook or so on. Fine. Or you say, no, I've got to buy an access code. If you say, yes, I have an access code, it takes you to the next screen. You have to accept these agreements. Feel free to read at your leisure if you so choose. If many of us are like I am, I just hit accept and move on. Do you have a Pearson Education account? If you have a Mastering Chemistry account or a Mastering Physics account or a MyLab account from a different course, you have a Pearson account, okay? And it has a button to check if you're not sure. But you can say no if you've never had one of these before and you need to create a login. Okay, this can be anything you want. This doesn't associate with anything other than how you get into the system. So it doesn't matter if it's your name, your RAT email, which a lot of folks use. It doesn't matter if it's the name of your first hamster. Okay, doesn't matter. And then create a password. Notice that it has to be 8 characters with at least 1 letter and 1 number. All right, so you can check that out. Retype your password and so on. Then you can put in your access code. So this is where you would type in those 5-letter, they give you the example here, 5-letter words, 5 of them in a row. Make sure you put them in the correct order. Make sure that you've spelled it as it is on the card, all of these things. Okay? And then you hit next. It's going to yell at me because I haven't put in anything. But what I want to do is go back and say, no, I need to buy a code. Okay, so this is for you, those of you that did not buy the book at the bookstore and you don't have a code. So you hit next. What you need to find is actually our textbook this year is this Campbell Biology, Concepts and Connections, 8th edition. Make sure you pick the one with the owl on the cover. This may be different than your book you have, and that's fine. The book you have may be an old edition. It might have a cat or a penguin or an iceberg. That doesn't matter, okay? To access our homeworks, you have to have this owl book selected. And you hit next. Then you decide, do you want the e-text? Some of you may be doing this completely electronically, no hard copy book, and you say, yeah, I'd like the e-text. Some of you may not want to lug that giant book home on the weekends, or you may not want a hard copy book at all. That's fine. Or you may have an old version of the textbook and you may want the e-text online just to make sure that the figures are matching up and things are familiar to you. Whatever. Hit next. Again, you're going to have to create a login. So this is giving you the price for mastering without the e-text. That's $60.50. If we go back and say, I want to buy it with the e-text. Your e-text is available at a reduced cost. Okay, let me check out the e-text price. The e-text price is $91.30 with Mastering Biology. Please keep in mind this is a full year subscription, calendar year, not academic year. So if you take Gen Bio in the spring for Bio 2, or if you have to take Gen Bio 2 in the summer, next summer, this still will work for you. This is the only thing you have to buy for the entire Mastering Biology and textbook part of the course. Again, create a login if you need one and hit next. It's going to yell at me, as I mentioned, because I don't have anything logged in that it wants. But once you do all this, it will push you back to that first page we started on, themasteringbiology.com. Once you have an account, you can sign in. Once you sign in, you can get access to the first homeworks and everything that you need in mastering. Once you're in mastering, it will say Gen Bio Fall 2014 at the top. You'll have a calendar here that shows you when the assignments are due. Yours will look slightly different. This is my login, so it's showing me every assignment you have. But you see you have your first assignment, Introduction to General Biology, due on the 27th. Very short time away. All homeworks are due at 11 o'clock at night. Okay? So if you click on that assignment and go into, you won't get to pick student view. It just will take you into the assignment. You click on item 1. Your first item is reviewing different kinds of graphs. On a graph, the x-axis is the blank line, horizontal or vertical. If you don't remember, click reading different graphs. Now you may say to yourself, what does this have to do with biology? It will have a lot to do with biology when we talk about all of these different things throughout the year. Hit continue, it takes you on to the next question. On your homeworks, you have unlimited numbers of, unlimited amount of time to actually work on the assignment. You have 2 guesses per question, okay? Hopefully you won't need 2 guesses, but if you do, that's okay. And you notice there's a give up button. Don't hit the give up button. Give it a shot, okay? You might surprise yourself. The other thing I wanted to point out to you is you also will have quizzes due. So you see there's an intro bio quiz that's going to be due on Friday by 11 o'clock. Those of you that perform poorly or below a 90% on the homeworks will get these adaptive follow-up assignments. Those of you that perform better than 90% on the homeworks will automatically get credit for these adaptive follow-ups. Essentially, this is extra practice. We want to make sure that you are comfortable with the material so that you succeed on the exam. You'll notice that the adaptive follow-ups are due 24 hours after the homework is due, and so you'll need to get those done for points as well. If you want, right, you don't have to do these. The adaptive follow-ups are 5 points on your homework. They can certainly help, and the material is certainly what's most important. The other thing I want to point out for right now, we can talk more about mastering later, is this study area button. Please click the study area button. Okay? You will only have the e-text option if you chose e-text, but the rest of the materials you do have. So for chapter 1, you want to see how you're going to do on this chapter. You want to know what you know already. Do the practice test. Go in. Work through these things. Okay? There are all kinds of things here to help you, including, different graphing activities and so on that go along with chapter 1. The other thing you'll eventually want to take a look at are these bioflicks. You see they don't really come into play until chapter 4, but they are some amazing animations, and trust me when I tell you that they are $1 million a piece. Really. Check them out. They're pretty cool. So when you go into these, when you want to go into chapter 2, select chapter 2. You have to hit go. Okay? And when you do that, it'll take you to chapter 2, same kinds of structures, key concepts, things for you to work through, activities, and so on to help you with the materials. Don't forget about this study area button. Sorry, you don't get the instructor resources button. Maybe in your future. So the other thing we need to think about is something called TopHat monocle. TopHat is replacing clickers in our class. Many of you may have used clickers before. And when we look at TopHat, the reason I have chosen to use TopHat is because it's going to allow you to work on things outside of class. It's going to allow you to review the questions. And for the flipped class and online classes, this is also where you'll get your video assignments. So you will get an email from TopHat that says, go here, buy a subscription. Now, when you buy the subscription, you have a choice. You can buy it for 1 year. If you are graduating in May and you don't think you'll ever need it again, great. If you're a freshman, there are a lot of folks that are starting to use TopHat. You can buy a TopHat 5-year subscription for about $25, which is less than the price of a clicker. And the nice thing about TopHat is you can use it on absolutely any Wi-Fi device. And if you don't have a Wi-Fi device you can bring to class, if you have what my mom calls a dumb phone, a flip phone, whatever, as long as you have a texting plan, you can send in text messages to the system and still participate in what's going on. And then when you get back to your dorm, you can sit down with your computer and you can actually do all of these things after class as well to help you review. So when you get your email, there'll be a link. You go into student sign up. You'll find RIT, or you can just enter that 6-digit course code that's going to come into your email, and then you hit next. You'll set up your account. You probably want to use the same username that you use for Mastering Bio. Makes your life a little bit easier. Password, agree to your terms and conditions, reading them, of course, if you so choose, and then hit next. Okay? Once you are logged into TopHat, it'll take you into the course. And right now I have a big welcome message up for you looking at what your favorite dessert is. And lots of people have already started to contribute. So Ellie here loves chocolate pudding pie, very nice. Jake loves his brownies and so on. Okay, so this is just to get you into the system and make sure everything is working. Okay, as you go through, we're going to be using this. You will not see all of these options right now. But what you will see when I open them up for you is this Pages tab. This is where you're actually going to see your video assignments. So Chapter 1, What is Biology? I give you the link in YouTube to the playlist associated with it. You'll go into the video. You can watch the video straight in here. Check this out. Before we get into large discussions in this course regarding biology, that's me talking to you about the introduction to biology. Notice here, Chris in the bottom corner. Chris is our interpreter. You can turn on the subtitles within here, okay? So when you turn on the subtitles, they come up at the bottom. You can turn those off if they're distracting to you. Chris will always be in this corner unless you go into YouTube and choose the No Interpreter option for the videos. But in here, Chris will always be here as our interpreter for ASL. You notice I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 videos for Chapter 1. But that's all of Chapter 1. At the end of this list, you see a list of questions. You should be able to answer these questions after you watch the videos. Many of you may skip down here and say, I can answer all of these now. Be careful. Many of these would have very complex answers associated with them, some of which may not be of any interest to me whatsoever, and then you start rambling on your exam about something we never talked about, and you get it wrong. Sad day for you. Okay, so the videos are here. They're short, most of them. This one's 5 minutes, okay? Most of these are on the order of 8 to 9 minutes to give you a sense of the scale. Some of them will be longer, 15 minutes or so. I tend to warn you, this is a long video. Save it for when you have some time to go through it. Okay, but they will always be here for you to go back through. This is just a very easy way for you to have everything in one place. For now, we're going to close that up because we don't need it until later this week. Then you'll also have questions available to you. Okay, so there'll be a question set available for Chapter 1. If you're in the flipped class, we're actually going to do these in class. Okay, so these will be things I ask you in class. We'll look at different questions. For the online folks, I will set these later on after class, after we do these in our flipped class, so that you can see them as homework. All right, and you can actually work through them and make sure that you understand these questions for the test. For now, we'll close that up again. Okay, so that was a lot. This is a very long video as an introduction, but I wanted to make sure everything was there for you so that you can get to all of these materials. Okay? Don't forget, My Courses is your third site that you'll need access to, and you'll want to log on there. If you want to get to the YouTube videos straight through YouTube, you can also do that. We have a YouTube channel. It is RIT Gen Bio. And when you go into the RIT Gen Bio channel, you'll see my little penguin up here in the corner, and you'll see a whole lot of videos. There are over 400 videos posted, so playlists are your friend. So our first playlist, as we said, was What is Biology? You can come into here, select What is Biology, and you see here CC only, that's closed caption. You can turn that on and off. Remember, when they say with interpreter, you can't turn off the interpreter. So if you don't want the interpreter, you need to choose these ones that say CC only, and just don't turn on the captioning if you don't want it. Okay? So in this set, it says there are 12 videos, but half of them are with the interpreter, half are without. So there are actually only 6 videos that you have to watch in this set. And the time then would be half of what is actually shown. Okay? So don't panic. We're looking at you spending, on average, about 30 minutes watching videos for what we would spend in class then. 30 to 40 minutes of videos for one class session. Okay? So for the flipped folks, you can plan ahead. For the online folks, you can crash course these all at once if you desire, just so we're all ready for the test that's coming up at the middle of September. So that's your introduction to mastering and TopHat. Let me know if you have questions. You can email me. The ritgenbio@gmail.com is a good way to get me, or my regular email address, sjcsbi@rit.edu. Remember, on your syllabus, there is an email policy. I will get back to you within 24 hours of your email Monday through Friday. There are a lot of you in this class, so make sure you tell me what class, what section you have a question about, then what is your question, and then who you are. Don't expect the RIT email system to tell me who you are, okay? Have a great day. Enjoy. Let me know what I can do to help you on your journey in biology. Best wishes.